Joining me now, David McIntosh. He's president and CEO of the Club for Growth, which is an independent expenditure organization, and they get involved in helping candidates in causes that they believe move the cause of freedom and the cause of capitalism and growth forward. And David's been on our show before, and he's with us now. David, great to have you.
Great to be with you, John. Happy Friday.
TGIF, man. Look, I want to start with District 7, CD7, Virginia. We cover it like a glove. Every part of the district, you can get us on the radio somewhere. So Nick Freitas, we backed him in the primary or in the convention over a couple other good candidates.
Yep.
I've been a fan of Nick a very long time. He's a fighter, working hard. This district, a must-win for the Republicans if they're going to have a chance to pick the House up. Absolutely must win. Last poll I saw, Freitas up by 1, Trump up by 4.2 in the district. I saw that about a week ago before the debate. Spanberger's outspending him 5-1. She's got $5 million. He's got $1 million. How do we win?
So the key here absolutely is to balance that out with the super PAC spending. That's where Club for Growth Action, our super PAC, comes in, and we've already spent about almost $3 million, $2.8 million to promote Nick and to start telling voters the truth about Abigail Spanberger. I mean, she is the worst kind of deceitful Democrat there is. She says she's a moderate, and yet she goes up and joins Nancy Pelosi and AOC 90% of the time. AOC, the radical left of the Democrats, 87% of the time. And she says, I won't sign on to Bernie Sanders' version of health care, but I have my own health care, Medicare X-Choice, that would cost everybody $2,300 in their premiums. So she's very deceptive about how far left she is, and she frankly didn't tell the truth with voters about where she would get that funding, that $5 million. She promised not to take corporate PACs, thinking that was a big deal. So she did, and it's legal, she did a runaround where she took the corporate money through a different channel and hid it all, or tried to hide it all. But we've exposed that because she is that type of deceitful leftist who comes and says, no, I'm actually more moderate because the district really is a more Republican-leaning district. I think key to victory here are the parts of the district that are around Richmond. I think they need to come in very strong for Nick. They know his record in the state legislature of being a real champion for freedom and freedom issues. He's tremendous on the economic agenda, would support continuing the tax cuts so that people don't see a $2,500 tax increase, which is the Biden-Spanberger plan. And he would oppose radical moves like ending fracking and eliminating the natural gas and other carbon-based energy, which would cost us trillions of dollars in this country, and 20 million jobs would be lost. So Nick will be a great defender of free markets and freedom when he comes to Congress, but it's going to be a close race. We're going to need everybody to get out there, help him knock on doors, win this election.
Right now, again, David, last poll I saw, Spanberger behind by 1. I mean, that's virtually tied.
Right.
Trump was up by 4 in the district. I think that's going to hold. We've knocked on all the Trump campaign has knocked on a ton of doors in the 7th district. They've knocked on none. So I feel good about that. And, you know, the best opportunity for Nick right now is if you're voting for Trump in the district, why are you going to vote for somebody down ballot that then voted to impeach the guy you're voting for president? Like, how does that make sense, David?
Doesn't make any sense to me, right? So, and not only did she vote to impeach, she was the leader of switching the impeachment process on. Pelosi put her out there at the press conference saying, I think all these she didn't call them made-up lies, but I think all this stuff about Russia and Ukraine means that he should be impeached. And because of her so-called national security experience, that just led to the stampede. No, I think you're absolutely right. If people are voting for Trump, they should vote for Nick down ballot. And as they get to know him, they'll know that he'll be one of the really great defenders of the president, whereas Spanberger will line up with Pelosi and Schumer and try to tear him down.
You know what's amazing to me is the ads that she puts on, and I'm going to run your ad in a minute, are pretty effective. I saw one on TV the other day.
Great.
And it's kind of laughable, her ads, because she's got like a gun on her side and a law enforcement official and a CIA. I mean, she worked for the post office. Basically, her the ads are deceitful. I mean, look, it is what it is, right? You are who you are, and you did whatever job you did. I mean, she basically investigated for the post office people that blew up mailboxes with cherry bombs. I mean, that was her job. But yet her ad is like, oh, she was a law enforcement official. She's with the CIA. She was at the post office checking mailboxes. Unbelievable. All right, here's the Club for Growth ad called Truly that just started running the other day in the district. Let's key that up, Kiara.
If Abigail Spanberger truly cared about Virginia, why would she vote against Virginia? With Pelosi 90%, nearly as much with Socialist AOC. Why would she support higher income taxes on Virginians, push policies that could raise payroll taxes? And why would Spanberger take so much money from defund the police extremists if she truly cared about Virginia? Because the truth is, she doesn't. Club for Growth Action is responsible for the content of this advertising.
So I love that ad because it's just, it's really not a negative ad. It's just telling you about her record. Here's what she's done. She voted with Pelosi 100% of the time. She voted for impeachment. She's taking money from Black Lives Matter, and she wants to defund the police. I mean, and she said it, and she's taking the money from the people that expect her to do that. I don't know if you see this ad, which I think is outstanding. How do you vote for somebody if you're not a dyed-in-the-wool liberal that wants all that stuff?
I think that's right, and that those are the people that should be most happy with Abigail Spanberger, the far left, because she's delivered. Our goal is to make that ad ubiquitous in the district, let everybody see it, let them know the truth about her, and that will hopefully then mean that they'll start realizing, well, Nick Freitas was really closer to what I believe in. You know, keep taxes low, keep freedom intact on our rights, our basic rights, and don't let the left defund the police.
What are you going to continue to do to get her policies, to be able to explain the voters in the 7th District, David, exactly what her voter is? Because when she ran, I mean, I thought she ran a very effective campaign in 2018 when she beat Dave, Brett, and she ran as a moderate. She came on my show. She ran as a moderate. She was going to work with the president. I had her on a couple times after she got elected. Now the far left wing demands she not do any radio shows like mine because I might ask her a legitimate question and she might answer it because you can only put this facade on for so long. Basically, she campaigned as a moderate that would break with the party and should be a different kind of a Democrat. It's the exact opposite. So isn't that deceitful?
Incredibly so. She wasn't truthful when she first ran. When in Washington, she broke her promises, not to take the dark money, as they call it. She found a way around just having to disclose that, trying to hide it, but she took the money. And now she's taking it from the most radical elements out there in the left that are, boldly supporting defund the police and all of the rioting that's going on. No, Spanberger is exactly the type of politician that we've come to really despise because they lie to voters when they're back home, and then they go to Washington and they line up with the most radical elements in their party and the special interests there. I mean, I'm sure the businesses that gave her money probably liked her votes, may have even now be supporting her, but they did that because they want her to vote to give them special breaks rather than what Nick would be for, I'm quite sure, because we've talked to him many times, is across-the-board tax cuts that give everybody a chance to keep more of what they earn, provide for their family, earn a decent living, follow their dreams. That's his philosophy versus Spanberger's. It basically says, I'm for sale. If you're a radical leftist and you give me money, I'll be a radical leftist. If you're a big corporation and you want a special deal, I'll give you a special deal.
John Fredericks Radio Network. We're with David McIntosh. David is the president and CEO of the Club for Growth. They've come in big. This is an independent expenditure. They've come in big for Nick Freitas in the 7th District. Spent, when it's all said and done, it'll be over $3 million. Kind of leveling the playing field because Spanberger's got so much money. Your ads are very effective. David, I want to get to another topic you're hot and heavy on, which is parental choice in schools, especially now with so many kids having to stay home and doing Zoom and whatever, and all of the nonsense that's going with it, and the hacking that's going on, and people not paying attention to it, kids not learning anything, parents not being able to go to work, turning it to homeschoolers. The whole thing is ridiculous. And you've got some digital ads running in Pennsylvania. So explain you also had an op-ed on it. Explain your program and then why you picked Pennsylvania to run digital ads for that.
Yeah, thank you, John.
You're welcome.
So the contrast could not be clearer on education. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have sold out to the special interests, the bureaucratic interests that want to keep the money for education but not open the schools. And so suddenly, and they want to destroy any opportunity that parents have for another route. They want to shut down the charter schools, for example, or for parents with have difficulty being able to pay for a private school. There are all sorts of scholarship programs that are available. They want to shut those down because the special interests want all the money to go through the school bureaucracy. Well, now we're seeing with COVID that school bureaucracy doesn't really care about our kids. They're struggling with these distance learnings. The parents aren't able to go back to work because they have to be there and effectively be the teacher. Mm-hmm. And if you've bought a house in a nice neighborhood because you thought the school was a really good public school and now it's closed down, you're trapped, right? You don't have extra income to be able to pay for a private school alternative. So what President Trump has proposed is take the money that the Democrats want to send to the bureaucracy and send it to the parents. And then they've got choices. If the local school is open, they can use it to fund the local school. If they want to homeschool, they can homeschool. If they want to send their children to a private school, they can do that. If they want to pay for a tutor to help their child with all of this distance learning, the Congress has appropriated literally tens of billions of dollars to these bureaucracies. And what the president and Republicans want to do is send that to the parents so they have the choice for what's best for their kids. Whereas the Democrats want to keep it tied up in the bureaucracy and the unions, and that isn't working for the children today.
It's not. And why you wouldn't want to give parents the option and the choice to be able to do what they think is best for their kids. This is another campaign issue that is frustrating me. There's so many things we were talking about today that the Trump campaign is not taking advantage of. School choice is one of them. I mean, 2 debates I've heard, it didn't come up once. And this is a huge issue, right? Especially now with all these kids at home, and parents don't have the option. I mean, we're in Richmond. That's where I am right now. And you have no option here in Richmond. We have a 30% dropout rate. Think of that, David. 30%. That means that only 7 out of 10 kids that go to high school even get a GED. They drop out. You got a 30% high school dropout rate, and you've got kids in Richmond that are not going to be in school for an entire year. That's 3rd grade, 2nd grade, 8th grade, 10th grade, 5th, a year. They shut them down in March, and they're not opening them up until the end of January. They've already made that decision. So they're out of school for a year. They'll never get that education back. They got robbed from them. Plus, right. No football, no basketball, no scholastics. A lot of these kids, that's all they have. That's gone. They can't work out with their friends. They have nothing. And, no one says a word about it. Unbelievable.
Yep. No, we've been pushing it really hard. We chose Pennsylvania because it's a battleground state in the presidential race. And what our polling showed was when people know that Joe Biden would take away more options, shutting the charter schools and eliminating the scholarships, and Trump was for sending money to the parents, they moved from Biden to Trump, and it was a winning issue. I wish the president and the vice president would take that up because the voters that are struggling with the Republican ticket are suburban voters, suburban Republicans. They might not like all the tweets, but they care about their children, and the president's doing the right thing for them. We just need to tell them about it.
That is the number one thing. You need to educate people that there is an alternative. There is other things, David McIntosh, with Club for Growth that you're able to do. And I want you guys involved with parental choice in Virginia, because we've got so many school districts here have shut down, besides Richmond in Northern Virginia, where I've got my studio up there in Washington, and in Southeast Virginia. I mean, in my town at Chesapeake, which I live, which is towards the beach by Virginia Beach, our schools will shut down. Luckily, my son goes to Christian school, Atlantic Shore, so they're in school, in class, so I'm fine. But all these schools are shut down, and we have the lowest percentage of cases. There's no hospitals are overrun. Deaths are one every 18 days, but yet they've shut down schools, and nobody has an outlet. So I want you guys to get involved in Virginia, because we have so many callers that really are upset by this, and it's all about politics, and it's all about the teachers' unions. And what about the teachers who are saying, I'm not going to go back to school. I want to get paid, but I'm not going to go back to school because I don't want to put my life at risk. Well, what about the people at Walmart? What about the people
at the grocery store that are bagging your food?
At Kroger? What about the people at?
Yeah.
Come on, give me a break, man.
Yeah. No, they're so wrapped up in their own self-interest, and what this shows is institutionally these big bureaucracies and the teachers that are part of it don't really care about our children. What they care about are themselves. And when you give the parents the funds, and there are billions of dollars out there that are available to do that, if we rechannel them, give them to the parents, then they're going to care about where the money comes from, and they'll start caring about their children.
Well, I appreciate what you guys are doing, and the money that you're putting in education, and just giving people an outlet, telling them what to do, and hopefully we can get you guys involved more in Virginia.
We will. We're going to continue to push really hard on this, because it's a huge freedom issue for the next generation, right? Our schools are failing our children, and we can't let that happen.
Exactly. We've got to get this word out. And I tell you, David, as we go in, I know you guys will work at the federal level, but as we go into 2021, I've told these Republican candidates for governor, somebody that takes this up as their number one issue is going to be the nominee. That's all you have to do. Say, my number one issue as I'm governor is I'm going to get your schools open and get your kids back to school and get them back on the football field or the basketball court or the baseball or the soccer field. Because the outrage of what is going on here is beyond the pale. And everybody's afraid to take it on. Well, I don't want to get sideways with the teachers. Well, the teachers' unions are so powerful. Well, I don't want to get sideways. I don't want to be looked at as a COVID denier. And, what if somebody somewhere, someplace, sometime, got sick? And so the person that takes your issue up and runs for governor is going to be the nominee. But so far, nobody will touch it.
We have to conquer the fear. We have to conquer fear and be courageous and move forward. And we need leaders who will lead us that way, which, by the way, is Nick Freitas. He is that courageous leader who will stand for the truth.
Well, David, let's have you on more. Keep doing what you're doing. We love you guys' work at Club for Growth, and thanks for everything. Thank you.
Thank you so much.